God-level photography skills and creative people. Alex Webb. When I started taking street photography, I shot like Henry Cartier-Bresson, the search for a decisive moment, to be patient, and combined interesting objects and backgrounds. However, after a while I ran into a blank wall. I was not interested in working that way. Then I accidentally found material about the work of Bruce Gilden, also taking street photography, and was fascinated. I also began to experiment, shooting with a flash, and came to the conclusion that close contact with the subject is more interesting to me. In the end, I found myself in the fact that I need to be as close to the object as possible, to be sociable and sincere, than some invisible and passive observer. Martin Parr. I have a pretty good idea of how to take a good shot, but at the same time I'm always stupid because a really good photo suddenly appears out of nowhere, and I don't understand how it happened. That's why I still continue to shoot, to understand how it all comes out, to catch the spirit of photography. They say that photography is a very simple means of communication, but at the same time it is a very complex matter, which is what makes it so interesting. Saul Leiter. In photography, I like the ambiguity. When the viewer is not sure what exactly he sees, says Saul Leiter. I appreciate precisely this moment of confusion. I often shoot near the house. It seems to me that the most wonderful things happen in familiar places. In search of the unusual, it is not necessary to go to the ends of the world. Gregory. Gregory is the only Indian photographer who is a member of the Magnum Photos Agency and has a prestigious award from the Indian government, Padma Shri from the Indian government. The author of more than 20 books, he was always attentive to the problems of his country. Created a documentary on a chemical accident in Bhopal in 1984. I Gregory. I try to portray what is most powerful, Gregory says of his work. To tell the story in full, and not part of it, it is more like a picture, a complete picture. Ernst Haas. One of the main innovations of Haas is the beginning of work with color film. His experiments in the 50s influenced the development of all photography of the second half of the 20th century. It was Haas who began to interpret color as the main subject of photography and first shot dynamic scenes in color. Color is joy, said Haas. Color shots finally began to look natural. Ernst first published abstract works in color, emphasizing all the features of the genre: contrast, versatility, emphasis on detail and semantic ambiguity.